Hey guys, and welcome back. This is episode 5 of my tribute to horror games, and tonight I am going to be showing you first-person shooters from the DOS era. We're talking Doom, Doom 2, Blood. So guys, I hope you enjoy. Okay, first up is Nightmare 3D. This was released by David Gray and Gray Design Associates in 1994. This isn't your typical Wolfenstein game. This is more about moving slower, and it's much more puzzle oriented. This game is based on Yugo's House of Horrors, the graphic adventure games that were shareware back in the day. You play as Yugo, and you must rescue your girlfriend Penelope from the evil Dr. Hammerstein. You're going to be traveling through his mansion, underground caverns, and all different kinds of places. Since this game isn't a tribute to horror games, of course there are going to be horror monsters in it, such as Frankenstein, there's bats, there's witches, and robots, and even mummies. Not only is this game a horror game, it's very slight horror, but there's also quite a bit of humor in the game, such as when you come face to face with a seemingly invincible monster reception committee, only to watch them reveal a secret passage by forming a thriller-style moonwalk dance, of course at your bidding. It's actually a pretty funny game as well. What's even funnier, you can actually still buy this off David Gray's website for $12. You get the DOS version as well as the Windows version. Unfortunately, the Windows version does not support 64-bit, so it would have to be ran on a 32-bit OS. Next up is one of my personal favorites, Blood. It was released by Monolith Productions in 1997. The story follows Caleb, a recently resurrected Wild West gunslinger from the early 20th century, who is seeking revenge on an ancient god. Caleb, who had earlier joined the cult, rose to the inner circle called the Chosen, which later on the ancient god kills. And many years later, just all of a sudden, Caleb rises and decides to seek revenge. Blood had quite a few expansion packs as well as a sequel. The sequel was not nearly as good as the original. Blood was one of the first, not the first, to have a second or alternate attack for all of its weapons as well. Like others, Blood and its sequel Blood 2 can be purchased on Good Old Games, pre-configured to play. I highly recommend the first one. It's a lot of fun and actually doesn't look too bad for a old 90s first-person shooter. And here we have the granddaddy of all first-person shooters. This was not the first, but I feel this was the one that influenced most of the modern first-person shooters nowadays. And that is Doom. It was released in 1993, first as shareware. Basically, they released the first 9 levels as an episode. You got to play that free, and then if you wanted, you bought the other 2 episodes of 9 levels each. Both Doom and Doom 2 really didn't have much of a story. You basically play a space marine who gets stationed on Mars, and basically the company opens up a portal to hell and lots of demons pour through, and you basically have to fight your way through a horde of demons. This is basically the story for all 3 of the Doom games. Not much has changed actually. Historically, this game was a major success. Within the first 2 years, over 10 million people played the first episode of Doom. It wasn't until much later that I actually played the other 2 episodes of Doom. Just like most, I had the shareware first episode of the game, which I played a ton back in the day. And here, of course, we have Doom 2, released in 1994. This is the game that made me have to buy a new machine. I think it was a 486 DX33 or DX266 just to play this game. I remember many nights I would connect to my modem and play quite a few friends in this game in multiplayer. The story for Doom 2 is pretty simple, just like the original Doom. Instead of being Mars where there's tons of demons, basically the Space Marine comes back from hell and sees that millions of people have been killed by an invading horde of demons on Earth. Another thing that Doom and Doom 2 is well known for is custom levels that hobbyists made using level editing software. Basically, id Software and John Carmack wanted it to where customers could extend the levels and story for Doom and Doom 2, so they made it very easily accessible by compacting all the data in files called WAD files, and because of that, many hobbyists were able to get a foot in the door as professional level editors for many companies. Alright guys, that is it for this episode. Hopefully in a few days I'll be able to have another episode up. I also plan on putting up a little small video of the intro and maybe up to the first encounter in Doom 3 just so you guys can see what it looks like. I know most of you guys have played it. That is an absolutely great looking game, even though the game came out in 2004 and it's just 10 years old. Thanks again guys for watching.